Hey traders, hello, Alex is here. Welcome to another edition of the Crypto Lab with Alex, featured by Trading Analysis. I hope you're all well and fine. And as usual, we are going to go in a little bit of a macro outlook, especially with the completed Fed meeting yesterday. Lots of stuff to digest there. And afterwards, we are going, of course, to look crypto space and what is the latest development. Please, as usual, leave your comments or your favorite cryptos in the chat box or in the comment box. So I will be glad to look at them after we finish this first part of our usual presentation. So let's dive in. Let's cut to the chase immediately. 10-year yields, one of the things that most of the trading world is looking are moving higher. Actually, holding this support for now. We had a seen reaction higher after the Fed meeting yesterday. Jerome Powell actually was very vocal in regards of the Fed's outlook, which was, I must admit, a little bit of, let's say, foggy in respect of when they see this so-called transitory inflation is going to finish. And of course, the big news was they are starting to taper or reduce quantitative easing, or they're reducing their assets purchases by 15 billion per month. The pace was 120 billion, so in overall, it is just the beginning. But they have signaled they might do that, and they actually did it yesterday. And the overall outlook is still not clear in regards of the outlook, how much inflation can go on the upside. And they are in a little bit of a stalemate situation, because the mandate of the Fed is maximum employment and price stability. And of course, the maximum employment is still not reached. And we are seeing big moves in some of the prices, especially daily prices that of the products we use in the energy sector and in the food sector. So it is a little bit worrisome, I will say, but the overall line in regards of how they looking at these things is that after some time, which might be a little bit prolonged, the inflation will actually go down as the economies balance itself. I would recommend for you or anybody who likes macro, there is a nice video posted by EPB Research. If you look, if you can find it on the YouTube, there is a global demographic vortex, and this guy very well actually explains what is the prospect of demographic in the developed countries and how it will unfold in the next 10 to 20 years. And I think this explains everything. We have two really big secular forces, which is demographic and technology. And this is more of a cyclical inflationary appearance, which comes, of course, after some years of deflationary environment, and they are completely natural. So a very nice explanation of one of the key factors in the future GDP in developed world, and I recommend you to view this video just to see the big picture perspective. So 10-year yields are keeping this support level around 1.5. I think this is just a temporary support. Most likely this is some type of a fourth wave. And we are going to see, in my opinion, as long as we trade above 1.37, we might see one more push up and test of this equality. So from technical perspective, from the methodology we use, which is the Elliott wave methodology, this three legs, or A down and B up and C, are equal, or this first leg A up to B, to the measured move or equality to the wave C comes around 2.06, and I think around 2% it will be a crucial and a key level, and what the rates are going to do from there. If we see a break of this level further on the upside, I'm afraid we'll have to change our wave count to a more impulsive wave count on the 10-year yields on the upside. Next levels to watch if we pierce through these 2% levels is around 3.2, which is a sizable move. If you look these developments in the 10-year yields. So for now, I will focus on this 2% as long as this 1.37 holds. I think this is just a small consolidation, and that we are going to see 10-year yields to move higher. I will just glare a picture for you. And this support comes around 1.48. I think we are just in a small consolidation before we start moving higher. In that regard, stock market reacted relatively nicely to this tapering news. Jerome Powell mentioned that the rates are not connected with the tapering, and that if they see something close to maximum employment, they will definitely start to kind of warn markets that the rates are coming. So this is still not the case. So they're still focused on reaching maximum employment after this relatively big COVID hit in employment everywhere around the world. So this is recovering pretty nicely in the last year in the United States, and but it is still not at a satisfactory level, so that Fed can raise rates on the upside yet. So they were very vocal of announcing that. Market is, I will say, pricing that there will be one or two rates increase in 2022. And therefore we might see some correction soon in some of the main indices, but this is still to be proved. For now, market looks relatively bullish in the next couple of weeks. We see this development from this support level, which we emphasized a couple of crypto labs ago, that from there we are developing on Nasdaq. This is the futures, a 5-wave move. This is clearly a 3-wave move on the upside. So we will have a couple of more legs eventually, until we see maybe potentially some signs of the possible corrective pullback. If we switch to Europe and look what is going on in the yields there, this is the chart of the 10-year Bund, but this is the price chart. The yields works inversely, so it's the basically same chart, just when you inverse it, because the yields and price are connected. I'm taking this price chart because of the clarity of the corrections and the Elliott wave sequence. So in my opinion, this actually kind of agrees with this outlook that this rates moving up will be transitory, maybe lasting even one more year. And then we will see these higher forces of demographics and technology kicks in, economy balance itself, and we continue in deflationary manner for the next couple of years after these 5 waves up actually completes. So I regard this as some type of a consolidation. We don't see anything impulsive on the downside in the price, which means that we might be in some type of a triangle or a wedge formation, or we are in some type of a complex correction, and this support zone, I would like, if we see a little bit more downside in price, that this support zone holds for some type of complex corrections down to this level, maybe in a couple of months, if we stay if we start to trade beyond this kind of a sideways movement. So I will still stay bullish on the bond prices. I think this is just a temporary pause of a couple of years. And then I think the deflationary environment, when the economy balances itself, will continue to make pressure and move the prices lower. Of course, doing macro, it cannot go without the dollar. So we have to look dollar index and gold, of course. So dollar index is trading according to our view in the last couple of months. We are looking this from the higher time frame as a possible completed five-way move. So from COVID start in 2020, some of the Fed lines and restoring liquidity into the dollar markets, because the dollar, of course, in that risk-off environment was starting to push higher, was actually reversed from here. The Fed dropped rates at zero and offered special lines to the central banks to ample the dollar liquidity, or to widen it, so that we don't see the stabilization in the dollar moving on the upside. And that was very well done, because the dollar actually started to move lower. And we have seen a five-wave move with a small truncation here, very clear wave count. This truncation is actually very puzzling for most of the people, but usually when you have a 15% move to the downside, you will see some things like this happens. In the Elliott wave world, some of these events are not so ordinary. They are quite rare. But I will say, if you see some moves which are, especially in currencies, in this such a short of time, 14 to 15% loss might produce this type of things where you actually, what we call truncation. It means that actually here, as you can see, we didn't posted a new low. We actually traded couple of points or pips, whatever you like, above this previous low, and then we reversed higher in a five-wave manner. So this is what we usually call a truncation. Still, you can interpret this as ending diagonal. You can also say that this is a 1, 2, 3, 4 and ending diagonal in wave 5. So I definitely think this is a small truncation, and from there we have seen a nice 5 waves up. Usually when you see some type of recovery, the previous wave 4 territory, as you can see here, of a larger degree and a smaller degree, usually offers a nice resistance zones. So we exactly did that. From the first touch of these resistance zones, we came lower, which we actually anchored as a B wave, and now we are looking for another development on the upside in the dollar index, possibly down to end of 2021 or even beginning of 2022. Question is the dollar going to go higher in the measured move, which means this will be a wave A, down in B, up in C, and a measured move, which we usually call a three-leg development, will end at 96.25, or we will see a rarer version of this ratio or this relation, which actually can touch this 1618 relation of the A through B for the wave C on the upside is relatively rare to achieve 1618, but I will not exclude that. Looking these developments here, to me this sounds like a five-way move up and a correction here. So we might see, surprisingly, especially if the rate starts to continue on the upside, move in dollar, which will be a little bit surpassing this equality level, and maybe even reaching these higher levels around 99.13. So this still is open to be seen. I think it is still too early to see this type of developments. I'm still going to follow these two targets. I think one of them might work, and in some type of 2022, I see dollar most likely reversing and continuing to the downside due to many factors that we are going to go into next crypto labs. Why the dollar might depreciate further on the downside, reaching maybe 81.80, which will be most likely the end of this dollar rally on the downside. But let's go wave by wave, and for now our wave count is working nice. There is no reason for us to change it, and we're going to stay looking this possible dollar advance with rates moving on the upside. So let's just look briefly metals. So gold has reacted yesterday. We have seen a reaction in a gold market. We were looking this in a members webinar for the possible support around this 1756. From there we have a nice reaction on the upside. If you look this close up, exactly from that level, we are running in a 5-wave sequence, which might be a beginning of this D wave on the upside. Now you can see the situation in regards of the correlation between dollar and gold. Both of them are moving up. And of course, the macro environment actually is influencing both of them currently to go on the same side. Gold on a more prospect of inflationary environment, and of course dollar because the rates are moving higher. So there is no need for me to change this triangle wave count for now. We are holding the key level around 1672. As long as we trade in this area, I will keep this triangle intact, and in that manner we will have, if this is correct wave count, another push down in a wave E, and then we will start impulsively to trade above 2000 and even 2500 or 250, depends which type of a target we are looking on the upside. There is a couple of more options. Of course, we are still not out of the woods. Clearly, what we can say from the Elliott wave perspective, that all of this, what you see here, is definitely a corrective price action. So we think that gold is going to continue higher, that this is just a pause in this trend actually, which started back then in 2015 and 16, and that this is just a small kind of a resting place, and it is difficult to decipher this type of a fourth wave corrections until they're very close to their completion. So there is a couple of more options. The point is to recognize the pattern fast as it develops, and that's what we are trying to do. So that's why this triangle is my first and foremost wave count, but I have a couple of secondaries, not just to have option to be right, and that is not the point of having a couple of wave counts, just to be prepared for some of the things that you actually still recognize the roadmap, and that is actually the whole point of having a couple of wave counts. I don't prefer to have them many. As you can see, even on cryptos, I usually have one or two. Having 10 of them will not make you any use as a viewer. So we would like to give you some quality content, and then I'm trying to kind of a couple together macro environment with these technicals and give you the best orientation as I can. So still I'm going to look this secondary thing. If we drop lower below this 1670 levels, which is actually there for a triangle, and then I will have to look for a little bit more downside before we start a new upside movement. Just to conclude, gold is in a correction. When this correction is done, according to this methodology, we don't see anything impulsive on the downside. We think that the gold is going to continue higher. Let's look briefly silver, and then we will jump to cryptos. So silver, from that respect, is still following the path of this possible um, ending diagonal in a C wave. I would like to see a little bit more legs to the downside. Definitely, I look this consolidation, which is actually for a year and a half, maybe stretching a little bit more at these levels again, kind of challenging this 21 after we see a 5-way move and um, break on the upside. This of course can morph into even bigger triangle. As long as you see some type of these consolidations, they can be a triangle and a couple of more other patterns. But for now, I think visibility is pretty good on silver because it is in the range for a year and a half. And definitely, to my mind, this is just accumulation of the energy and a sideways price movement as well as in gold before we start moving higher. So both of them from the different aspects. Silver is also an industrial metal, but in an environment where we are having a temporary inflationary spike, for gold it is natural to be some type of a safe or a store of value for the community, which is actually viewing gold for many number of years in the history for exactly that purpose. So let's go, guys. It was a little bit longer on this macro. I think it is wise to look this environment always. Why? Because we have to see some inflows in crypto, which will actually make this move up in cryptos possible, and money has to come from somewhere. I think that a lot of people forget that move in a couple of trillions in cryptos are huge. I'm still not convinced if anything happens in the stock market that this money will flow to cryptos. I still don't see cryptos or a Bitcoin as such a stable and compliant asset class where the big investors will seek refuge, of course, because of volatility, because of the compliance. Still, I think in this phase, we are still not ripe in the Bitcoin to have such a property. We might have it in the future, but for now, it is not there. So we have to see from where this money will come from. Okay, so it can come obviously not that much from retail, in that extent, it has to come from a little bit more exposure of the big funds, which are managing billions. Is the compliance there? I don't think it is. We are seeing a lot of funds designating a couple of percentage of their portfolio for the some of the crypto blue chips, as you can call them. But I still don't see environment where the couple of trillions will be added, especially if the rates or if we see yields moving higher. That will most likely negatively, at least for some time, impact the stock market. And then I don't think that the safe haven or a store of value will be Bitcoin. Maybe I'm wrong. We will see. I think it's gonna go more on a gold side at this moment. I don't think Bitcoin is inflationary hedge yet. It might become, but the share status of Bitcoin, I think, is not that rock solid that it guarantees such a big inflows for the time being. So that's my observation, how I see things. So in that respect, I will have to count this as a potential 5-way move with my outlook on a Bitcoin. So first target in this crypto total market cap is around between 3.3 and 3.5 trillion technically. So as you can see, we have here a little bit of a divergence already. We are trading and all-time high marginally in this crypto market cap. And of course here, as you can see, we have these levels of the RSI trading below these highs, which shows some type of a potential divergence. It is not actually so firmly established. This can go and even surpass it. I'm not saying, but I would like just to see how we're going to react if we climb to these levels, which I think we will in the next months or two on the upside. So I still see cryptos going and up to these levels, and then from there, the next technical levels, because we do this by comparing and putting a couple of fib ratios from the different degrees, and when you see a couple of them coincide, that's a pretty rock solid resistance zones according to the many years of experience applying of this methodology. And in trading analysis, we have so many years, especially with Todd, me also, I'm more than 12, 13 years, Bennett and Terry as well. So our team is almost 40, 50 plus years in of this methodology. So these levels are definitely something to watch. And any move on the downside from there, this can be actually some type of a wave 3 or a bigger triangle, and the wave 3 first on the upside, but anyhow it implies a pullback to the downside. So the next levels are between 5.8 and 7.4 trillion dollars, which is significant rise, almost double from here, which definitely I think it's going to happen in the next year or two, but I'm just a little bit on a guard. They're going to happen now. Okay, so I just want to be clear, I'm still very bullish on the crypto space. I've seen some comments that I'm bearish. I'm not bearish, I'm bullish. I'm just trying to use our skills and experience just to kind of portray what I think is going to happen next, because markets doesn't function in that respect of an expansion when we expect to. It works in a different mysterious ways, and I'm trying to recognize this and potentially warn you just about some levels that you need to be careful of. Okay, so let's go and see. I see the comment. Okay, I'll keep my gold and silver. That's not a question, really. I mean, the real investors are pretty fluid to switch from one asset classes to other. Of course, gold and silver are not going to produce any returns as the crypto does, definitely. Hence, the volatility is smaller. And there is the second philosophical things between the gold and Bitcoin. So we are not going to go today into that. I might invite some guests which are able and very well versed into discussing this manner or this matter, because it's a pretty philosophical question, gold versus Bitcoin. So let me go and show you my Bitcoin chart. As you know, my levels on the Bitcoin, in the case we continue towards these levels, which I see as a potential danger to the Bitcoin, which comes between 70 and 80K. I have noted them pretty vividly, so you can see them. So in that respect, this will be a three-wave move. Now we are in the orange wave 4 consolidation. This is a daily chart. 200 moving average stays around 45. I have been also very vocal of something that you, everybody or you can see, that now 30 and 40K are pretty strong resistance on the downside. And I think even if we see any downside from these levels, they are not going to be, in my opinion, surpassing much 40K, just in case in a running flat or in a triangle lasting a little bit more. So from these levels, we should climb one more move on the upside. Our members and I are looking to buy these pullbacks. I will show you that on a smaller time frame for the next 5-wave move. And we are doing this from a couple of things, or from a couple of points. First point is that, of course, it is nice when you can recognize that this is just a corrective move and we are going to continue a little bit higher, making some end-year profits. And of course, we want to be secure if these levels are breached on the upside, because I think in that case, 100 and even above 100K will be pretty fastly reachable after we pass this 75, 80K. So if we don't see any problems of a Bitcoin moving up, I think that after 80K, 105, even 110 will be very quickly reachable with then a small pullback and then a further expansion towards 150, 180K, which will be around my final target for this, in this case, higher degree wave 3, which will finish around 2.6 or 2618 projection from this 1 through 2 to get the targets for the wave 3. So there is a couple of ratios which I already mentioned, how strong they can be. They actually matching these levels between 69 and 78K. So that's why I didn't see that development so rarely, and I'm not warning or displaying this because I'm bearish. Just through our experience, market actually functions like this. Everybody is bullish. Sometimes you can see market caught on the wrong side just temporarily, like a test who's going to hold it, and then it is going to continue higher. But buying this here, potentially we will be prepared for both of these actual cases. So we are going to, of course, stay bullish. 40K is my support. 50K is the temporary support because we are moving on the upside. And I will definitely look what is going to happen if and when we reach these levels on the upside. Let me just go through Ether, and then I will go through your comments and requests. As Bitcoin, if we move up to these levels of 100 and more above, of course, Ether will be very bullish, reaching between 10 and 12K in the next run on the upside. On the note that if Bitcoin starts to show some type of a movement lower from the mentioned level, I will look for some type of a corrective pullback in Ether, not relatively a big one, and then continuation on the upside. So overall longer term targets for Ether are pretty high. They are close to 20K according to the current developments. And also, as you can see, Ether is developing pretty nicely. This is still a pretty nice bull trend. We still didn't see developments in this larger degree wave 4. So I'm still expecting that in some moment, potentially from this 10, 11K, if we continue on the upside. If we not, I will have to change a little bit of this intermediary degree labeling, considering just a pullback in Ether and then a further continuation on a higher. So I also think that Ether is bullish. And with the Bitcoin current movement, I would say support levels are around 3,000, as you can see here, pretty nicely. And of course, 200 moving average, which was much more behaving nicely than in a Bitcoin. Actually, we have seen here a very nice hold, while the 200 moving average in Bitcoin was some around making a big resistance levels from a Bitcoin to push on the upside. Actually, Ether was supported by this 200 moving average, and it is continuing higher trading. I think almost very close to the all-time high. We are already trading there, so I also expect a small pullback and a continuation. So on a smaller time frame. So let's see what is going to happen there. On the Bitcoin, we were looking for on a smaller time frame. This is a consolidation. For now, we are right. In not a question of being right, it's just a question of assessing the patterns that are unfolding, and that's why many people do not like Elliott Wave, because it's really about who drives the tool. It's not about the tool is perfect. You just need to have a muscle brain to think. It is very active methodology where you need to think all the time what is going on in order to recognize the pattern. So on the shorter time frame, we still think we are in this some type of a corrective move, either a bigger triangle, which might complete soon for the move up, or we're going to see a little bit more lower levels around 55K, which will be for us a nice entry towards this 70 to 80K on the upside. So we are still observing this consolidation. It's definitely a correction, only 3 waves down, possible sideways triangle. I have this as a WX, possibly Y. I might, of course, not be right because the pattern morphs, and I'm prepared for that in advance. It might be just an A up in B, C, D, and E. We go a little bit more in a triangle-ish consolidation, and actually this wave 4 finishes here, and then we see a more upside move towards this 70 to 72K, which I think is going to pose problem for the Bitcoin and for the continuation, just of course a temporary one. So guys, yeah, we can also look something which many people ask. So we can look Bitcoin dominance chart. So let's do that. We have been tracking this Bitcoin dominance chart pretty successfully for the last couple of years. And I think after these 5 waves down, which we tracked pretty successfully in the couple of last even a year, I think this is just a corrective move in a Bitcoin in relation to alts. And after these lows, we are seeing a 5-wave move up with a 3 waves pullback. So I expect Bitcoin to start pushing higher and having an upper hand towards alts as it has here. If you remember when, of course, because this is the relation between the alts and the Bitcoin, when we see and when we saw this move up in a Bitcoin, alts was basically frozen, going nowhere. And I think something else might happen again as we see this pullback is completing, and potentially from triangle or a complex correction, Bitcoin starts to go up towards this 70, 75, 80K. Okay guys, so that completes our overall outlook from the macro stat points and developments there. Let me see your questions and comments. So we will of course look some of the cryptos. If you like to see our work, we are located at tradinganalysis.com. We have a stock and crypto service and pretty much cool stuff in regards of tracking boats. So you can visit us, take a trial, or visit us on Wednesday, where we have extensive stock coverage by Bennett and Terry, with a little bit macro and crypto by myself, and a crypto lab, which is designated only for the crypto space. So tradinganalysis.com, take a trial, it's 27 bucks. We have a pretty nice community in the Discord, exchange charts, opinions, and we do trade some swing trades from time to time. Let me start from the beginning. Lehman, is it 6 or 7? Yeah, there has been some daylight saving times. I think it happened here in Europe, but I was unaware of, so I apologize if I'm late 1 hour. I was making that mistakes in a couple of past days. I always forget. In a sense, when I look my watch, I have 2 times, and then I just mix them up because one is showing the normal time, which I'm used to, and the one when I click a button shows the daylight saving time. So my watch wasn't a normal. So if I'm late 1 hour, I really apologize for you waiting. Hi Oleg. Oleg is always present. EMF. Hi Alex. Good day. Can we have the looks for AVAX? Yeah, let's look AVAX. Let me just go. I don't have everything on Binance feed. I have here something which will look as a okay, so yeah, we'll look this as a potential move on the upside. So I see this advance on the upside as a five-way move and a pullback, and we should start to develop a higher degree levels on the up. But potentially, I don't see that developing yet. Potentially, five waves up are done, and I think this will most likely, if the Bitcoin starts to move from the expected levels, will form a flat, which means that from a little bit higher levels, we might go down in this potential wave 2. Of course, if I will be bullish here, I will not count on this. I will follow it if it goes on the upside, which means that I will probably, if my entries on or some around there, I would like to secure, of course, some of my gains. But if this happens, I will at least know where is my entry. So if this develops in a 335, which is an expanded flat, we might see something like this, and then of course a further move on the upside. So this is for now a pretty bullish chart. We still didn't reach even equality of these two legs, and I think this one, once the air is cleared and money starts to pour into cryptos, might continue and finish above this equality and form something more impulsive on the upside. So the chart looks decent, but the current environment might produce a little bit of a setback if we see these developments in the crypto space. Yeah, Serum is on Solana. Okay, so I think this is developed by FTX. So the founder of the FTX, he definitely wants to be competitive in the DeFi space. Of course, he has done a wonderful work, and he's still doing a good work with the FTX institutional environment compliance. And I think on the end, he will be most likely the biggest beneficiary because he's working in the right direction of producing environment, which is a pretty kind of a nice for the institutional presence, and of course that compliance is much harder to do than the usual retail one. So I have a bit of a faith that this Serum will pose a serious competition in the future. As you know, we have a couple of centralized DeFi protocols, and we have a couple of decentralized. As you know, some of them, like Aave, are not performing so well. It is stalling and moving sideways for the number of months. We also have a compound. We have Celsius, and we know regards for the last probe in the Celsius, and that's why the price is dropping a little bit lower. But I expect this to be resolved. But in Serum, I think this is a leading diagonal, in my opinion, which is very bullish. But I don't see in this environment possibly we go immediately on the upside. So as you have to take all of this, what I'm saying conditionally, what the Bitcoin will do on these levels. But when I inspect some of the wave counts on the altcoins, I see actually a very kind of a strong case that this might happen. Okay, so that's why I'm a little bit of cautious by talking so bullish as the rest of the market is. So in that case, I think Serum will retrace a little bit more, which I think is going to be a phenomenal, at least for me, entry on this one for the further development on the upside. And definitely, if we see the deflationary forces kicks in and the rate starts to move lower, DeFi space will become attractive to the majority of the fiat currency holders, and I think that will be the next leg in the development of the DeFi on the upside, and therefore I think Serum will have through the FTX a nice environment and nice clients to pursue these DeFi opportunities through that protocol. So that's why, and also looking the technicals, I think Serum is, for me at least, a good thing to look for the longer term hold when some of these patterns actually, or this correction develops. Hey, Jerd, Hado, hey Alex, can you have a look? Shiba. Yeah, Shiba was very popular. Shiba coin. Shiba is moving up and destroying every question. Oh, okay, Shiba reversed. I didn't expect this reversal to be so strong. So let me just address that. I was talking about the two options last time. It seems to me, because we are retracing from 1.618, sorry, that we might get something more exuberant on the downside. Let me just see how this looks on my Binance feed. Shiba is moving down. I had this as a triangle first. This as well, as you can see, the smaller sequence is developing in a potential 5-wave move. I don't agree even on this wave count, because this wave 4 should be a little bit shorter. But I'm still going to hold the view that this is potentially some type of the corrective pullback before we start moving higher, because this is still not a full impulsive move on the downside. Of course, I would like to wait a confirmation, but if you look just from this 5-wave sequence perspective, we still don't see that development here. So wherever you see these type of things, you must assume that you are still in a corrective mode. What we like to see for something more on the downside in the more impulsive manner. So let's say this will be a wave 1 and 2, and we are in some type of a wave 3. So we have to see a more expansionary price action on the downside to consider this to be temporary high in Shiba. Until we see that, by using this methodology, we have to stay in the line that and with the trend. Because we don't see a mentioned 5-wave move. For now, I will still look this as a potential 3-wave correction. And of course, what I would like to see from here is a 5-wave move on the upside on a smaller and higher time frame, which will actually will reach my target for Shiba, which is around, I will not read all of the zeros, I will just say 0.90, okay, on the upside. So that will be some of the ratios, and maybe a little bit above that I will look. So all depend. I think this is not a good representative of what the price is actually trading now. Here we are at 0.0485, and here we are at 0.50. So there is a little bit of latency there. So I will still observe this. I will especially not, the RSI is pretty much low on daily. So I will just observe any 5 waves up, and a pullback might offer a small risk opportunity, at least for a measured move or a further move on the upside. On the longer term chart, I will have to see how this correction is unfold. Usually when you have this type of a possible wave 3 anchored here, or a lesser degree wave 3 development, these levels will hold and reversed. So I want to see a little bit more development to give a clearer picture. So shorter term, I will be careful on the long side. I will be waiting for a pullback, and then when I see a 5 waves down, 5 waves up, sorry, I will pursue at least a small measured move on the upside, or a further move on the upside. We had that with our members as a triangle, potential triangle. You always have to be careful how you express yourself, because I never take these things as granted. So this triangle, of course, had to, or a wedge had to reverse from here, because this will be an A, B, C, D, and E, but we broke it. And now this is to be observed as an A, triangle B down in C, which might be already finished. So let's see how this works on Shiba, and then we will go and see something else. So just let me see how this wave structure is working. Yeah, we are exactly as equality. Sometimes you have this 0.618, but this will be a natural place from where you might see a 5-wave move reversal. Any break of these levels will imply that Shiba most likely will reach relatively lower levels from here. So be careful, watch what is Shiba doing here. And break of these levels will not be nice, I think, for Shiba holders. Andreas, yeah, I can look Sol. Guys, just take one. There is, I think, enough of requests. I cannot take two for everybody. So Solana is going bullish as we looked last week with you on the Crypto Lab and with our members. We had this left. So after a post triangle thrust, we counted this as a 1-2, and we were looking this for a further continuation in a wave 3, and that is exactly what is happening. So we are going to stay with this trend on the upside, looking this intermediary 1-2 up in 3, 4, and 5 in Solana to unfold, and to my mind and my eye, this is still a bullish uptrend with a little bit more subdivisions to come relatively soon, but I think the uptrend is still intact, although this triangle is warning us that before larger correction, this might be the last move on the upside. So be careful. Any 5-wave sequence on the upside will make me actually think that we are at the end of this cycle, and we are going to see a little bit more of a pullback. Pamu said, running out of patience with gold. Yeah, but that's what a triangle for. Wherever you see this type of things anywhere, it might happen even on Bitcoin. People are fed up, they give up, and then it goes on the upside. Yeah, I know, it happens to me a million times. That's why triangle are so, or wedges are so difficult to endure, and a lot of traders also trade them, so they think they cannot see, of course, in the beginning that this will be just a big ugly sideways price action. Yeah, I know you. I got you, man. I was in the same position many times, just banging my tables and the keyboards. Why this thing? I mean, even on this point, I remember a couple of times. It was not even important for me, do I win or lose on a trade, just get the damn thing go somewhere. Up and down, never mind. I lost patience, and I don't know how many times. Now I'm cool, I'm just observing, like I'm in a beach, and I don't even care. But I mean, you need some type of training and experience for that. Okay, so Igor is saying, thank you for the mention of the global demographic vortex. Yeah, I think it's very, I mean, this guy is, although he's very young, but he's very educated. I looked a couple of his videos, and he's following the right things and the right scales. I like to have this biggest outlook on the forces which functions on the bigger cycles. Because like that, you know what are the strongest forces that are influencing, especially inflation, deflation, outlook, and GDP, which is actually can be projected or derived from this type of forces. So every recommendation to look that video. Let me see what we have next. Running out of patience, we see that. Okay, I'll keep my gold and silver. Thank you for explaining the total market cap trajectory. Okay, Anna. Yeah, I think market cap is a very important thing, because people should be aware when you state Bitcoin will go to, I don't know, 500K million You have to be aware that adoption rate, network effect, and all of that stuff has to go exponentially. It might be, uh, but the timing of that is of crucial if you want. I mean, for the longer term holders, you should really not care, because if you hold it, it might happen in a couple of years. But if we address the current environment at what the market is expecting, I still don't think it's time, looking the global situation with all of this stuff, what is going on, that suddenly Bitcoin will turn into inflationary hedge. It is a little bit questionable, maybe in the future, but that's my opinion. I mean, that's how I scale things, and then, of course, announce that publicly. Litecoin could be a good entry. Yeah, Litecoin has a nice wave structure. It didn't show post support levels much. We had this nicely done as a 5-wave move post this correction, as you can see. A pretty nice move on the upside in 5 waves. We notified this was a small correction with a further expansion in the wave 3, 4, and 5. ABC pullback, this was a false Walmart news. And then from there, we can count this as a 1-2, but we need to see more upside. I mean, in Litecoin, in order to develop further, this is still not enough. And this is pretty much situation in all of the altcoins. If you look, many of them did exactly the same. So they hold our support levels, which we were banging the members webinar and this crypto lab for many weeks, like, okay, this is going to be support level. Fine, there was, but post support level developments are still not enough for me to conclude we're gonna shoot higher immediately. Okay, and you can see that on many wave counts. I posted on Twitter, and I don't know why people feel offended by that. It's a strange world today. I posted on Twitter something which was actually a reserve wave count or a bearish wave count on Matic. I love this chart pretty much, and I'm very bullish on Matic. But somehow I don't know why people are offended me being temporarily bearish. I don't know. It happens all the time. I experienced that with ADA when I actually posted a couple of weeks from where ADA will go down, and people was coming at me like crazy, you know. So I don't know what's about that, but Matic also are developing nicely from our support zone, but still there is a probability with this Bitcoin move that we have a move lower, either in triangle or in a flat. So that's just a possibility, and to me is to weight probability to that happen, and that depends what we are going to do at this level. It's simple as that. I don't know why people has a problem with that. So that I'm not decisive, you know. That's why the people wants to have just one directional decisive move, like. But markets doesn't function that way, guys. Definitely. Okay, let me go first. XPRT. Okay, persistence, a very good project. XPRT, very nice project. It actually moved nicely from our levels. I definitely think this is post, as I can say, IPO, or it's not an IPO, it's just when the currency was introduced for trading. 5-wave move up, 3-wave moves down, 5-wave move up, in my opinion, but still questionable, okay? I definitely think persistence from here or a little bit lower will have a sizable run on the upside, because these 5-wave moves, which are pretty clear, implies that we are at least up on a measured move. This implies a 3-wave move down, which we usually look as a corrective. So a sideways price movement, either a triangle, a move up to 26, 34, 44, or even better, if this is a wave 2 or a little bit lower wave 2, it's going to go sizably on the upside. So I like this chart very much, project as well, but it didn't reach so much network effect for now. And I will stay just a little bit cautious, but overall, to me, this chart looks bullish. Okay, simply said. Yeah, we have been pretty sizably bullish on DOT for many weeks back. DOT chart is looking nice, and it was looking nice from many weeks back. I missed a couple of corrections, which is fine. But overall, our outlook on DOT, even from, if you look Crypto Labs in January this year, way back, was pretty much sizably bullish on Polkadot. And of course, a very good project, as you know. They are starting with their parachains activity, and it still look bullish. So I have a 2 wave counts. As you know, I like to be conservative, so I will take in consideration this wave count more than this one. Especially if we don't see immediate, this RSI on a daily is implying to me that we might see potentially some of the corrective pullbacks. And this is the most bullish wave count I have on Polkadot. It is extremely bullish in this 1, 2, and then a lesser degree or intermediary degree 1, 2, up in 3, 4, and 5. So some phenomenal prices ahead. But I will just like to stay grounded with the possibility of Bitcoin moving lower. And then in my case, it will be the same outlook, but just I think all the world will have one more very nice opportunity to enter long. So I don't know why people look corrections negatively. They're great, and I would like to see this on a Polkadot because it will be just a new phenomenal entry for such a great project. So I mean, I will stay with this wave count. Okay, so a little bit more upside. I will definitely look in this of these levels around 80. If we start expanding further, I will have to throw my towel on the Bitcoin reversal and look Polkadot to be extremely bullish on the upside. MOFED, ADA, same thing. ADA doesn't look bullish at all. I don't know, this is going to present disappointment to many. Project is stalling a little bit fundamentally. Overall, I think it's a good project, so don't make me wrong. I'm just trying to see if we are in this wave 2 now, okay, which is completed and we go up, or I think this will be most likely the case, that we are going to see a bigger correction down towards these levels where might be a good new entry on ADA. Okay, I was pretty very vocal on this reversal. My actually target was achieved last week at 1.8, but current development or current recovery doesn't imply, it's just a 3-way move. It can turn to complex on the upside if the Bitcoin starts to move on the upside, but this for now doesn't imply a very solid recovery for the bullish development, at least for now. So I don't see, as you can see, clearly 5 waves up. Like here, I don't see an angle of ascent which is on the upside. I just see the same price action as here, and that you can see for yourself. So it's enough just to watch what the price action does, and if it goes like this, I mean, there is no willingness of people or market to buy this thing, okay, and it still doesn't exist. So we will see. I will take this with a very questionable outlook for the further bullish development before a larger correction, especially if the Bitcoin moves lower from the levels we mentioned. We looked Solana, MOFED, we looked ADA, AXC. Yeah, AXC post-triangle trust was pretty nice. We were all over the triangle, and we think it is going to continue further on the upside, which we said in our members webinar. So post-triangle trust always has a five-wave development afterwards, and that is what we are seeing here. We have pretty much nicely defined that from these lows here, even in the Crypto Lab and in our membership Discord, we notified that after this ABC move, it was a five-wave move up, pullback, and then we had the triangle as a pause, and I think we are going to see more upside on the AXC, a gaming thing. As we know, these things goes up, up and up. So 1, 2, I still see development in a possible wave 3, 4, and 5 up to these 200, 210 levels, and then we will go from there. Okay, guys, so yeah, so that will be all for today. We looked Serum. Michael, if you didn't see it, just go Vechain. So let's look Vechain, Vechain. We were bullish on Vechain. Overall wave structure looks pretty nice on the bullish side. Post five-wave move and a correction, we have seen a nice expansion, vertical one on the upside. We are still sideways here. We are displaying a possibility we might continue higher, but in this case, I'm just going to continue looking at the bullish side. But we are not out of the woods, because to confirm that, Vechain has to surpass some of the strong levels, which I will say rests around 0.2. So I would like to see Vechain goes above these levels. For now, this is a very nice hold at equality. We were exactly looking at that with our members. It's moving nicely, but I still see, because when you have the third wave of the third wave, one thing you need to see present, as you can see here, is a strong force and verticality. So every third wave, as in the third wave, should be a kind of a very vertical, non-doubtful move. You must not see any kind of you know, like are it going to go or not. Wave threes are decisive. They just move very strong, very quick for a small amount of time on the upside. So that's how you actually recognize where you are. And in most of these altcoins, we need to see this urgently. Otherwise, I will have to consider this reversal pretty seriously from the levels I indicated. Maria, thanks for the birthday. It's a little bit late. I'm still 49. I will be 50 in 18 days. No, 14 days. So it's still not my birthday. But although thank you for the wishes. Ox369 say full ignored me. Great analysis of Matic. On what did I ignore you? Maybe I miss somebody sometimes. Okay, let me find you. The devs have been building non-stop infrastructure of 6 chains with their own bridges, but I'd like to know more about the chart and trends. Which on which? I don't know which ticker you like. You didn't mention that. Ox, would you like to see and tell us which chart and trend would you like to see? No. Who said that other coins will continue to go up despite BTC reversal? I never said that. I don't think that will happen. I think I'm pretty sane while doing these crypto labs. So I don't think I ever uttered these words. I said that when the Bitcoin will go up, according to the Bitcoin dominance chart, the alts will stall, or they will go at a lesser degree when the Bitcoin will go and test 70, 80K. So that is what I said. I never mentioned BTC reversal and alts going up, where if BTC reversed. So be careful what you are interpreting there. So because of the others, not because of me. XRP, Ox is not giving us his chart or his requests. XRP, yeah, everybody, I mean, I think one guy is constantly pressing this dislike button because I'm not doing this XRP. So let's respect the tradition and let's not continue to see the XRP just because of him. No, I'm joking, guys, I'm joking. That's really not matter. You can dislike it as much as you like. I'm gonna look XRP. Overall, 5-wave move up, very questionable reversal from here. I had this, as you can see, as a pretty bullish chart, but with a caveat, this is still not enough to conclude we are going to immediately move upside. Okay, so if you look at it from this perspective, we didn't cross a major resistance levels. One is also up there. If you look the higher time frame, it is a very a possibility that we might have one more leg down, and actually from 0.80 we continue to go on the upside. So for now, it's of course it is not even clear to me what it's going to do. I don't know where the market's gonna go, guys. I'm just using my knowledge and pattern recognition to weight the bigger probability to be as an edge. I mean, I really don't use this as I'm not a crystal ball guy. I don't know when the markets will go. I just, when I recognize the pattern, I will say that according to this methodology, probability will be higher that will go in this direction. And that helps me to just maintain my risk reward ratio. And that's all. So I don't know where the markets will go. If anybody thinks I know, I don't. So let's just be clear in that. So in this case, I also don't know because it doesn't display necessary qualities for the further advance. Simple as that. So I'm still going to look if this especially reverses more lower for a ABC X ABC for maybe a 0.8 and then reversal on the upside. And this goes well with the Bitcoin. Yeah, D-back, please be careful about that. Somebody can interpret that. You didn't heard it well. I will not utter such a thing. So be careful. Thank you guys. Hit the like button for trading analysis for Crypto Lab with Alex, and I hope you enjoyed this outlook. I would like to bring some guests. So do you have any wishes? I mean, my type of guests are not this kind of a hype crypto guys. I would like to have some sober, and I would like to have somebody very well rooted in the sanity and of course into a macro environment and cryptos as well. From that respect, I think Real Vision has been done and phenomenal work following cryptos. I appreciate much Raul and the work he has done. They're still not calling me there, but maybe I'm not still worth it, and that's fine. But I would like to have some of these type of guys where you can really have a nice conversation. So yeah, Simon, great guy, of course. Simon from the astrology side, Vedic one, very known guys, great guy. I just met him recently online and not in person, but what a man, huh? What a man. Yeah, put your potential requests. I will try to reach them and then bring them here so we can have a chat regarding cryptos, macros, overall what's going on globally. That's my favorite subject. So I'm a little bit of a macro maniac. So I like to see these bigger trends and bigger picture. And Okay, Ox, which ticker did you give? Let me do it just for you especially. What is the ticker? I don't see. I just see your comment. Full ignored me. Great analysis on Matic. Where is your ticker? You have 5 seconds to put it there, and I'm gonna do it for you. I don't know about Ivan. Can you put his link or YouTube in the comments so I can see the work? Yeah, Simone is a. I will of course try to talk with Simone. Yeah, just hit the like buttons, guys. I mean, 1,000 views. I don't know. I think I for the last 6, 7 months as the crypto lab started, I think we earn more objectively, guys. So um, I don't know that the sanity contact contest or the normal analysis doesn't have much viewers. I mean, I'm fine with that, but we can at least increase a little bit more on the upside. At least some other guys there consider us worthy to be guests at our channel. So yeah, Ox, please save this for the next time. Thank you very much. Hit the likes button and see you next Thursday on the macro and cryptos with Alex, featured by Trading Analysis. Bye bye, guys. Have a nice rest of the week and stay safe.